Hey Bodacious Beast, welcome back to my channel. My name is ScottyAllenDay. I got some new threads. I like my brand new rock and roll style Hawaiian shirts. So, I mean, the more people support me, the more I see that I'm getting traffic, the more I'm, kind of cleaning up my act a little bit. So, as I sit here, burning the midnight oil, waiting for 6 a.m. to appear on my laptop. I work a graveyard shift, so even on my days off, I have to stay up graveyard. Everybody is sleeping and sawing logs, and I've got to burn the midnight oil. So normally in the background, I turn on the radio, and in the background tonight, the Steve Miller Band track is playing the Joker on the radio. Yeah, I'm one of those old fogies that still love listening to the FM radio dial, and would choose that any day over a cell phone playlist. Why? Well, listening to the randomness of the radio, you may discover a new song that you never heard before, or a band you never knew existed. Somehow, it's got a relaxing vibe to it. And while listening, I wondered, I let my brain wander. What would it take for rock and roll to return to mainstream music once again? Right now, I see rock and roll sitting in the middle of a classic desert, and a few streams of modern rock is feeding the lake, trying to keep it alive. I have not heard a mega hit in quite some time. Don't get me wrong, there's plenty. Don't get me wrong, there's plenty. I'm looking at my notes here. I lost track. But nothing grabs me like the 60s all the way through the 90s rock and roll. Where are all the younger, modern, more younger classic rock? Parrot, surf, psychedelic, glam, hair, grunge, heavy metal, rock and roll bands. Where are the gothic rock and roll bands? Anything besides somebody going and sounding like you're coughing up a hairball. Some people like that. A lot of us others like to be able to hear and understand the lyrics. I thought a massive revival was coming when I first heard Black Veil Brides and Greta Van Fleet. Both very talented bands. They have sold big albums. They've sold out big concerts. However, why do I still see more Iron Maiden, Metallica, and Ozzy shirts around than I see of these two bands? I don't think these two bands have the ability to elevate the younger generation to compete with them, like Led Zeppelin, like Bill Haley and his Comets, like the Grateful Dead. Black Veil Brides is a gothic band, and I have watched on social media. They have awesome music videos. Great music. However, I've never seen them on stage. But they're a great band. The band leader tends to go off kind of like what Ozzy does, and does his own thing. But they're not getting the attention that I see of all the other mega bands. Greta Van Fleet, I have seen both on stage and on social media, as well as national television. When the band first started, they were the talk of social media. We thought they were going to be the key of rock and roll. They were going to be the key to get the rock and roll out of its funk. But the thing is, because of the fact that everybody kept saying that they sound so much like Zeppelin. And the lead singer of Greta Van Fleet, and I didn't write his name down, I apologize, did not like that. He did not want to be called he didn't want to be called a Led Zeppelin knockoff. But they weren't. They just sounded like Zeppelin, which attracted the crowd. If somebody sounds like Elvis Presley's band, would that offend them? If somebody says that they look like Ricky Ricardo's off of I Love Lucy's Cuban nightclub, Would they take offense to that? If they sounded like that they were the Coco Bongo Club from The Mask, would they take offense to that? Why? If they sound like that, great. Go with the flow. Bring your band up. Then you have more people that want to compete with you. I would say probably about 60% of the bands in the 80s sounded like Zeppelin. They wanted to be like Zeppelin. So, well, it happens. And looking at tour statistics, I'm looking at my notes. Social media and album sales from these two bands of rock and roll is far from gone. I mean, they're still selling out shows. But so that's telling me that rock and roll is far from gone, or rock and roll is not dead. It just needs to find its heartbeat again. The passion and the fire needs to be reignited. But rock and roll needs to appear more in the national spotlight like country music is today, to attract the younger audience and the younger artists and bands. In today's rock and the 80s rock market, no, let me rewind just a little bit. In today's rock and roll market, the song lyric, "It's a long way to the top if you want to rock and roll," is no longer valid. In the 80s rock and roll market, it had 3 television networks. It had MTV, VH1, and Solid Gold. It had 9 different magazines, 3 different award shows, and 2 mega concerts, which was the Monsters of Rock and Ozfest, per year. Countless promotions on television. And to top it off, people wore t-shirts and battle jackets. You saw their names everywhere. All the bands, you saw them everywhere. They were featured in TV, they were featured on movies, they had trading cards like what I've been opening. I think everywhere you turned around, people dressed like rock stars. So that built and ignited the rock and roll market. Until they decided to go acoustics. They kept listening they kept listening and they bowed down to the pressure of MTV because they wanted to go acoustics. Wait a minute, acoustics is country. Rock and roll is electric. And that's what everybody blamed them. They listened and they fell. But they never found a way to get back up. But today when these bands go out, when you see the Motley Crue touring, when you see Ozzy touring, when you see Iron Maiden touring, when you see AC/DC touring, when you see anybody and everybody out touring, every show sells out. So it's stating rock and roll is still not dead. It's just sitting in the middle of a desert. It's trying to feed itself off into a younger generation. The 80s generation is not getting any younger. But they're trying, and that's happened. And from a podcast that I heard yesterday from a few other rock and roll performers, that's the reason why half of them are still touring. They're trying to inspire new bands. They're trying to keep the genre alive. So in today's country music, it's promoted on television. They have American Idol, America's Got Talent, and Britain's Got Talent. They have 2 magazines, 2 television networks, as well as countless classic television networks. They host the Oscars, they host the Grammys, they have the CMA, ACMA awards, and the styles people wear today resemble country music. And you see more shirts of the country music stars. On top of the Country Music Hall, and on top of it all, the Country Music Hall of Fame caters to the country music stars and supports the genre instead of creating controversy like the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. In order for rock and roll to come out of the desert, rock and roll needs to be supported on a media level instead of being ignored. So that's what I wanted to talk to you about today, is the support for rock and roll is broken off. And the support for country music has come back in. And when you're watching America's Got Talent, and when you're watching Britain's Got Talent, and when you're watching The Voice, and when you're watching American Idol, you don't see rock stars. You don't see people that are going in to promote a rock song. And the reason being is that people go in and cover a song. So they'll go in and they'll cover a country song because it's easier to sing. A lot of times rock and roll songs are harder to sing and harder to perform. So if I'm going to go in, I'm going to try and win a contest, I'm not going to try and bring my original version in and see if it's going to work. But take a look at how, if somebody took a risk, kind of like Freddie Mercury did in Queen with We Will Rock You, but basically the audience performs back. Well, country music has singable songs. By the time you get halfway through the song, you have the audience singing the lyrics back. In today's music, rock music market, with the younger generation, you can't understand the lyrics and you can't sing the song back. So, what do you guys think it's going to take for the rock and roll market to come back out of the doldrums and start becoming rock and roll again? Let me know that in the comment section below. Just want to kind of get this a little bit off my chest. It was a good topic to come up with today. So let me know in the comment section below. If you like the video, please share it so more people can be able to see it. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you don't miss another video. And like always, keep on rocking.